Hello, my name is Richard the Dungeon Crawler. Today I have something a little bit different. On all my review-based episodes, I spoke about adventures that I really liked. The Ye Old Geek suggested I review something I really don't. So, today I'm going to go over X6 Quagmire. If you'd like to hear my personal story and do a deep dive into Quagmire, then step inside my dungeon. I'm working on some new BECMI videos, so if you want to show support for the channel, all you have to do is make sure you're subscribed. This will help me bring new content to our community. What I did like about the adventure was the overall location. It sits about 11 hexes from the Isle of Dread, and its map could be lined up with the Masters of the Desert Nomads map. So, you're close to some really good adventuring. The party discovers a sealed bottle with a plea for help from the Swamp King, ruler of Quagmire. The message in the bottle says that Quagmire was a once great trading center, but is now sinking into the sea. Also, a fever is decimating the population, and to make matters worse, the denizens of the lowlands have blockaded the city. The message was written at the beginning of spring, and the city only has 6 months of supplies. The module says, when the characters find the parchment, cut 1/3 of the panel from the cover of this adventure and give it to the players. No matter what I feel about this adventure, this old book doesn't deserve to be massacred like that. The party can set out from Slavovich, which is the port city and can be found on the map of X5 Temple of Death. From Slavovich, the party can take the land route or the sea route. If the party chooses a land route, it's definitely going to be a long walk. Each hex is 24 miles, so it's definitely going to be a long slog, but the adventure does provide 25 area encounters. So up to now, the adventure sounds okay. The hook is a little bit bland, finding a sealed bottle, but there are 25 area encounters, and that's a good amount. So, it could be worse. But the area encounters are just plain and boring. There are more than a few really basic monster battles. For instance, one encounter is when the party sees a large group of lizard men approaching, and the party can get the jump on them. Or another encounter is the inverse. A large group of lizard men are hiding and waiting for the party to approach. Encounter 5 is when the party encounters a rhinoceros herd. Also, there's an encounter for heat exhaustion. The module says that there's a heat plague that causes dizziness and blurred vision if the players miss their savings throw. I guess the party didn't drink plenty of water. Another encounter is when the party comes across herds of mules, camels, and horses. These herds could be sold for money at the city. Remember Isle of Dread had super cool monster hunting? But Quagmire has mule hunting. Out of the 25 encounters, it's really hard to find something interesting. Encounter 28, High Seas, has a large table to determine what the party encounters at the shoreline. Some of the encounters are okay. You can encounter a wrecked ship with the mast is actually a wood golem. I actually photocopied this table years ago when I needed a quick encounter. I used this one, but literally half the page is devoted to this table. I really don't know if it's worth the real estate. Let me know in the comments what you thought about the area encounters. Did I miss something? Along with these area encounters are set location encounters, which are mapped with letters on the map. Most of the area encounters are pretty boring. There are a few that are okay. The party can find a dying warrior. He's a messenger from the city of Quagmire. If the warrior is healed, he will fight for the party. He also knows the location of a pirate horde. But these set locations will probably not be encountered unless you point the party in that direction. Remember, the party is probably speedrunning to Quagmire. They don't have the time, since the city is running low on rations. This means they probably won't see a lot of these side quests. One encounter that parties taking the land route will come across is a brigand ferry. There are 2 groups of brigands guarding either side of the river. The module says that the ferry ride used to be free, but now the brigands charge 1 gold piece per party member. This seems like a good price for an essential service. How would the party know that this ferry ride used to be free? The module doesn't say how the brigands acquired the ferry, but they are charging a reasonable fee. Seems like to me, the brigands are actually entrepreneurs. If the party doesn't pay the money, they could try to cross on foot, but there's only a 50% chance of a successful crossing on foot. The businessmen will also recover any valuables lost on the crossing. The party can try to attack the businessmen, but the group on the other side will attack the party when they try to make the river crossing. Any surviving businessmen will run off and wait to attack the party later. Another option to get to Quagmire is the water route. This could be quicker, but even more dangerous. The party will need to roll on the high seas encounter table, and this encounter table can be brutal. An unlucky party that rolls a 5, this causes a ship-wide fire that burns out the sails and riggings of the ship and reduces the speed to 1/3. Another encounter is when a ship snags a huge fishing net which belongs to a storm giant. The storm giant demands 10,000 gold pieces for damage to his net. The party will need to negotiate since they probably don't have that much gold on them. Whichever way the party chooses to get to Quagmire, they eventually reach their destination. They discover that Quagmire is being besieged by a large group of lizardmen. On 2 separate islands, there's a camp that can hold up to 360 lizardmen each. There are rafts and guard forces for even additional lizardmen. That's a whole hell of a lot of lizardmen. I think it's kind of lazy, but the module has 3 separate spiral cities, and all of these spiral cities have the same floor plans. The page descriptions are provided together, and some of the page descriptions are only a few sentences. The main focus of this adventure is Quagmire, which is one of the spiral cities. There is not a lot happening in this city. The party will eventually make their way to the ruler's headquarters. The ruler says, "You must rescue my people from Quagmire before it sinks. You are our last hope. There is an ancient city of Thenopolis. It is a spiral city like ours. Please lead my people safely to Thenopolis and help them resettle." So now the adventure is an escort mission. Escort missions are everybody's favorite, so how can this go bad? A small Dungeons & Dragons party is going to need to escort an entire population of a city that was once a thriving center of trade. This is going to be tough. But the entire population of Quagmire now has only 12 men, 14 women, and 16 children, so we need to resettle 42 people. Is this all that's left after the lizardmen attack? If so, the people have seen a lot and been through a lot. Now you have to escort a small group of people to the ancient city of Thenopolis. Thenopolis is located to the top of the peninsula, kind of where you probably slaughtered those hard-working businessmen. When you make it to Thenopolis, you find out it's already inhabited by monsters, so it needs to be cleared out. Believe me, this is something that should be really cool. But this adventure is pretty low effort. As already stated, all of these spiral cities use the same floor plans, and the monsters in Thenopolis are all pretty standard, like trolls and goblins. I don't want to hate on this too much, but the floor plans, they're also mid. It's basically a tower where you travel upstairs, slay some monsters, and then walk up some more stairs. Let me know in the comments what you thought about Thenopolis. Did I miss something? Was there something cool that you liked? Let me know. The third identical city is the Sunken City. It's not connected to the main quest, so it's not something your party really has to do. The Sunken City is a key location, so players will need to stumble on it, or you need to give them clues to find it. The Sunken City is almost completely submerged and could only be seen at daylight. The Sunken City is packed with mermen. If the party chooses to explore the city, they will need to have a spell or magic items to breathe underwater. But, as written, there isn't much treasure or magical items in the city, so it can be skipped without missing much. When I bought a new module and broke open the shrink wrap, I generally walked back from the bookstore, so I could only look at really the new monsters and the maps, so those were really important to me. The new monsters in the Masters of the Desert Nomads, which isn't considered one of the best BECMI modules, has some classics. There's a Nagpa, the Juggernaut, but all are unique and detailed. The new monsters in Quagmire are the giant fish, killer trees, grabgrass. They don't seem very unique. But there is a pocket dragon. This could have been cool. It could have been like a Pokemon creature, something with a twist that we haven't seen before, but all it is a smaller dragon that doesn't have a breath weapon. Pretty sad. I obviously didn't like this module, but some people might say that with a low page count, these adventures are only a framework. But many other adventures were able to make a fun adventure with a small page count. At that time, I was playing modules mostly as written. Modules like Lost City, Isle of Dread, they inspired me. But Quagmire did not. Thanks for watching all the way through. Make sure you give me a like. It will tell YouTube you like what you saw. Let me know in the comments what you thought about Quagmire. I know that every module has some good things and maybe some bad things, and there's some good hardworking people that made this adventure. Let me know if there's something I missed. Please make sure you're subscribed to the channel and you'll be notified when the next adventure is ready. And I'll see everybody on the next dungeon crawl.